And we are good to go by the looks of it. And yeah, first up, Logic versus Rico. Now, tell us a little bit about these players.
Logic I know very little about other than he is a High Master Zerg, played for Fluid for a while, but I haven't seen him around that much. I'm guessing he's more into the foreign scene, the Playhems, the Zeeks, and all that kind of stuff. Johnny Rico, on the other hand, is nuts. He is he is extremely young, like around 16 years of age,
yep.
And was picked up at around mid-masters level by Infused when he started doing well in the UK Opens. When he was picked up by Infused, he then started winning, and winning, and winning all of the UK Opens. So, yeah, that happened. So now he's one of the top UK, probably the top UK Zerg, close to Zictomany, that there is out there in the scene at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I had the pleasure to actually sit behind him at I-45 and watch a few of his games. And, yeah, some pretty incredible play by him, to be honest.
Yep, absolutely. Great play. And he will be at DreamHack, this one coming up. So
yeah,
that will be incredibly exciting. All right, shall we do the intros?
Certainly. Be my guest.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, spawning up here in the top right-hand corner of the MLG Antigua Shipyard, playing as the Red Zerg for Team Fluid, we have Logic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner as the Blue Zerg, playing for Team Infused, we have Johnny Rico. So, fairly standard build for both players at the moment. We haven't seen anything really strange yet. We're waiting for both players to throw down their pools, just continuing to mine, not throwing down any buildings yet, just sending out the overlords to get that scouting.
Yeah, I mean, Zerg versus Zerg has kind of changed a little bit recently. As you can see, Rico keeping up with the current metagame of that 14 pool and probably going for like a 15 or 16 hatch. It kind of looks like a 16 hatch right now, which is kind of the current metagame, because obviously it's safer against 6 pools, safer against 10 pools, and allows you to get that hatchery nice and early. And as you can see, Logic going straight for that 15 hatch, which is a little bit more risky on most maps nowadays, because obviously, especially in ladder, like, you can never be sure what your opponent's doing in ladder. Like, Logic could read Rico and know that he's a macro player, because he is quite well known for his macro ability. And just decide to go for that macro hatch, not expecting any early aggression. But this 14 pool 16 hatch is a lot safer, especially for ladder builds or against unknown opponents, of course.
Indeed, 14 pool 16 or 15 hatch for Johnny Rico, whereas Fluid Logic has gone for the 15 hatch 15 pool and has thrown them both down, both building and beginning to mine from his gas, so he will be getting that speed when this spawning pool does pop.
Of course, yeah, and it also, obviously, there's a slight variation in the build. Rico now going for that gas. As you can see, it is much, much later than Logic, so that Zergling speed is going to be later. That's if he even goes for Zergling speed first. He might opt for that Baneling, depending on what he scouts. So, you know, there is a lot of variation in the Zerg versus Zerg, but it kind of ends up at the same, you know, pivotal points. You'll see, you know, the Ling-Baneling wars if it evolves into that. You'll see the Roach wars if it evolves into that. The Muta wars if it evolves into that. So these, you know, no matter what the openings, ZVZ is kind of, you know, these three pivotal points of a matchup that you know, tend to expect in Zerg versus Zerg. So, you know, we'll see how it evolves. Usually this style favors Roaches rather than anything else, because obviously you stay on low on gas but high on minerals, so that, you know, really kind of contributes to the Roach selection.
Indeed, and ZVZ seems to be moving in, as you said, it does appear to be changing a bit, but it mostly seems to be filling in with the strategy of do what your opponent does, but make a little bit more of it. So if you are in those roach-infested wars, then you will see the player with the more infestors will usually come out on top. So they'll both go for very similar builds, and then just try and make more than their opponent until you get to the situation where you will basically have one player that goes roaches and the other one will go mutas, and then it's basically a base race.
Yeah, exactly. And Rico filling his opponent's base now with two little Zerglings. They manage to sneak past all the defenses. They see the gas income, they see the Baneling nest, and of course now he's going to be feeling really good, because if you look at the the drone count right now, it is 38 drones to 32. He has got a Baneling nest on the way, almost finished. His speed's almost done. Two more extractors going down and a spine crawler. So Rico taking a fairly large lead right now, but as you can see, Fluid Logic is gearing up for some aggression. 28 Lings were on the way, another 18 now, going up to a total of 20 by the looks of it, with 8 more and a Roach Warren following. So we are going to see a bit of aggression here. Rico morphing in 2 Banelings, and you know, he's only got a handful of Lings, another Baneling on the way. So this should be very, very close and interesting.
Indeed, Logic transforming some Banelings on the Rabbit Johnny Rico, and he manages to get a huge clump of Lings past those Banelings of Johnny Rico, but manages to lose an another big clump on a different Baneling of Johnny Rico, and Johnny Rico is attempting to pick off the Banelings, and he's not doing a great job. Those Banelings are snuck past and are attempting to get to... Oh, wow! Not great control there by Fluid Logic, losing one of his Banelings, two of his Banelings, sorry, to one Baneling of Johnny Rico, and he does manage to pick off a Queen, so... Not great defense there by Johnny Rico, but he has managed to hold it off eventually. Queen does go down, and the Roach Warren is now going down. Bit of damage done to the drone line, but none of the drones actually did get killed.
No, so, unfortunately, Banelings without +1 actually take 2 Banelings to kill a drone, so bit of interesting.
Indeed, but now we are seeing Johnny Rico going for the counter-attack with his Lings, but there are already Roaches out for Fluid Logic, so this will be forced back instantly. Johnny Rico having a peek, and at the moment, Fluid Logic appears to be ahead in his build order. He seems to have everything quicker, apart from the fact that Johnny Rico is now getting that lair upgrade pretty damn quick.
I kind of have to disagree with you. The early aggression didn't really pay off for Logic, so he is actually behind in tech and by drones. He's actually 11 drones behind. He has got a sizable army. Obviously, this Roach army is looking a lot better for Logic, but if you look at back at Rico's base, you'll actually see that his +1 is halfway finished, and he has 10 Roaches on the way.
Oh my god, yes, you were absolutely right there. I completely misjudged that. So... Absolutely, Johnny Rico is very much ahead at the moment. Both players just trying to mass up Roaches, and Rico does have just all these Lings chilling by the third of Logic to try and pick it off when it does go down. Yeah,
I mean, it looks like Logic is trying to establish a third behind a timing attack. Would be my guess, because obviously this +1 is on the way, the lair is on the way. It should match up nicely for Roach speed, but of course Johnny Rico now having +1, Roach speed halfway done, a third base on the way down, a drone lead, and yeah.
Yeah, Johnny Rico,
he's
doing
Rico
pretty
right
damn
now.
well. His Roaches are just massing up. If we look at the unit count, we have 19 Zerglings from Johnny Rico to 6 by Fluid Logic, and 15 Roaches to 9. So Rico is definitely ahead in the unit count. And if we look at the upgrades, Rico already has that +1, is attempting to poke him with his Lings, whereas Logic's +1 is not finished yet, only about halfway done. So if Rico was to push out now, then he could possibly crush Logic right here and now before this third base gets up. But it looks like Rico is making sure that he can get this advantage. And there we go. Lings get past the Roaches, busy in the third. And they're going to go straight into the Banelings, though. And being forced away. Decent defense there by Logic.
Yeah, definitely. Rico kind of... he did see this third going down, so he did see the drone going. So he knows that he is ahead in bases. He is obviously ahead in upgrades and production as well, because of that early aggression that kind of didn't work out for Logic. So he is now making infestors, pathogen glands on the way as well. Obviously you only need that upgrade halfway done for it to work. +2 almost finished, so it looks like a Roach infestor timing here behind the third base, which in all honesty, looking at this game the way it is, should work out very, very well for Rico.
Indeed, this pathogen glands will finish up perfectly before those infestors pop out. This is going to be so deadly for Rico. He's going to pop out of infestors, which will have enough energy by the time he gets to his opponent's base for a lot of fungals, and he can probably, honestly, he could probably get them almost all of these Roaches in just one fungal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if Logic doesn't suspect the Infestors, which, you know, he's got no reason to right now. Did he forget? No, he's got Roach speed. Those Roaches just looked a little bit slow to me. So now we do see Lings from Rico coming in, but we do see Roach Hydra from Logic versus Roach Infestor. But obviously there are 4 fungals available and a Roach advantage and an upgrade advantage. So it's going to be very, very hard for Logic to hold this attack. We should soon see what's happening. And a great fungal there. The Roach is just slightly out of position but moving now. Another great fungal locking down these Hydras and Roaches. And oh my god, is it melting here. Rico taking that battle with a supreme force there. And a very, very quick ZVZ.
We shall see how this goes. Annoying Noob is a Terran. Johnny Rico, of course, being Zerg, and this game will be on ESV Ohana LE.
Try saying that 10 times fast.
ESV Ohana. No, I won't do it.
No, and obviously Johnny Rico choosing the OP pink Zerg as his favourite colourful Zerg. What do you make of the balance around pink?
What?
What do you make about the balance of the colour pink? I mean, it's clearly OP. Like, Stefano chooses pink, he wins, like, everything. Johnny Rico chooses pink, and all of a sudden he's, you know, qualifying for DreamHack. There's obviously something about this.
I think it is camouflage. Because if you have a blue plane that is flying in the sky, it sticks out like a sore thumb. If you have a pink plane, it actually blends in, it's camouflaged.
Right, like a zebra in the desert.
Sort of, yeah. It's like
or a cow in a green field.
No, that's 100% true. I'm not sure. Alright, do you want to intro the players?
I certainly would love to. So over here in the top left-hand corner of Ohana LE, we do have the pink Zerg, Infused Rico. And down in the bottom right-hand corner, spawning as the blue Terran, we have Fluid Annoying Noob. It's gonna get really difficult to say eventually.
No, well, it's going to be difficult when we get into the huge engagements, but we shall save that until it happens. Johnny Rico sending down his drone in order to expand or scout. Nope, scouting first. So choosing not to expand it. There goes the probe for the expand, confusing me there, Rico. How dare you? And Annoying Noob beginning to get down his wall off. Barracks about halfway done, and first gas coming down as well. Yeah,
standard timings for the Terran play. I'm actually following the drone because it does have a mesmerizing way of moving across the map.
It sort of half flies, half slides. It's like a penguin.
Yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, we do see, like, again, standard timings coming down for the Terran player. This barracks finishing just at the 245 mark, which is literally as standard as you can get it. Second supply depot coming down now to finish off that wall off. But Rico's slimy, flyy, slidey drone is already in and stealing a gas by the looks of it. Because obviously, if you can't make this drone useful, then you may as well make it harmful for the other player.
Yep, absolutely. But we have already seen Annoying Noob throw down his first gas, and here we go. Here is the factory, so he will be going into that Hellion play. It is the question of whether it's going to be blue flame Hellion or just single factory Hellion, but it's much more likely that he will throw down the reactor on this barracks and swatch it over with the factory in order to get those reacted Hellions.
Yeah, definitely.
There it is.
Yeah, that would be the best bet for this kind of map as well. Obviously, you do have quite a large ramp at the natural here. It is, you know, fairly wide considering, you know, the placement of it. So Hellions do kind of poke and prod, and then they can also swing round to the really open third. So Hellion openings versus Zerg on this map is probably the best option, and obviously is probably the most practiced option that the, you know, Noob has done.
Yep, absolutely. I'm guessing we're going to move into calling him Noob to save time.
Well, Annoying Noob would just be offensive.
No, I'm going to go over... Well, not offensive. He chose his own name. It's like calling me Evil Guy. I don't mind being called evil.
You're evil? Wow.
I am evil. I'm very evil.
Okay. We do see the 4-Queen opening now from Rico, taking his first gas at the 5-minute mark. So pretty standard play. This 4-Queen opening has kind of evolved since the Queen buff. It does make Queens very, very good against Hellions. So yeah, I mean, do you play against the 4 queen build a lot, or do you do the 4 queen build a lot when you play Zerg? Or
I don't play Zerg very often, and when I play as Terran, I usually avoid Hellions. I'm not sure why. I guess it's just because I'm very bad at microing them. The only time I use Hellions would be with the Marauder Hellion push, which is good. But the 4 queen build, from what I have seen in play, is a really good defensive build. It's very good for defensive, apart from the fact they are quite slow, so Hellions can get around them, but they take a lot of damage doing so.
yeah, we do see a Banshee on the way now from Annoying Noob. It doesn't look like he is going for the cloak upgrade. No, he has nowhere near the gas for the cloak upgrade. So this Banshee is literally going to be to help the Hellions kind of push about. Obviously, a Banshee will kill a queen one-on-one, and then you also have to build Spore Crawlers just in case he goes cloak. So the Banshee play is going to be very, very interesting. As you can see, a large surplus of Hellions, so it looks like he is going into 2-base mech right now. Obviously with the Banshee support, kind of really solidifies this tactic in my mind anyway. I mean, if I was playing as Rico right now, I would be suspecting mech play.
Yep, I would totally agree. I haven't been seeing that much mech play in the competitive scene lately. Players still choosing to favour that bio style. But here we go, Hellions caught out at the third by 3 of those 4 queens being trapped, and one of them going down and taking a couple shots. But now there is very little defense in the natural, and the Hellions choosing not to go in. Though if they'd gone in, they probably could have barbecued quite a few lings, or possibly some drones.
He's obviously playing really safe just to make sure that he doesn't lose those Hellions. As losing that amount of Hellions early on to, like, maybe, you know, he runs up there and there's a bunch of lings ready to surround, or more queens or spine crawlers, and all of a sudden those Hellions are just literally, null and void. So just playing really, really safe here, which is a sign of a good player, if I'm perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you there. He is just being careful, making sure he doesn't lose any units unnecessarily. So just keeping his units. I wouldn't be surprised if he, when he started getting a bigger army, sent the units that he has here home and got a bit of repairing done on them.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely recommended. Obviously, this Hellion very, very low on health. This Banshee also half HP. Rico was forced to put down a Roach Warren, but then he suicided an Overlord and seen the barracks coming down. So, obviously, Annoying Noob opening with that mech play, either deciding that it wasn't going to work against Rico, or just generally, you know, kind of bait and switch. Hopefully force a few Roaches and come in with a huge Bioforce. But either or, Rico does an amazing job at scouting these barracks coming down, the factory, you know, going to make tanks. So Rico now knows that it is going to be bio play, getting those +1/+1 ling upgrades, and now pushing out with a bunch of lings, trapping all these spine crawlers. Sorry, these Hellions. Why did I say spine crawlers? They're not spine crawlers. No, trapping all those Hellions with a bunch of lings there. So great play by Rico, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. I've not seen a mech opening into bio for a long, long time now.
No, it's a fairly interesting one. Obviously, if you are going into that mech opening, you don't have that much gas left over, and you won't have that much minerals, but he has been able to get enough minerals to fully saturate his natural expansion. So this has turned out fairly well for him. He is getting out a very sizable army, and he did manage to harass Johnny Rico a bit. He didn't do as much damage as he really could have, but he did do a bit of annoyance, and now there are 2 Banshees heading up towards that third base to see what more damage he can do. Yeah,
with no Spore Crawler here, and the Queens, obviously, you know, there are a lot of Queens about. They're in the middle of the map, but there is creep joining just about everything right now. But Rico is on 75 drones and continuing to drone a little bit as well. So far, 0 workers killed for both sides. Rico needs to take a 4th, which of course is actually quite hard on Ohana. And now we see these Banshees coming in. They are going to do a little bit of harassment. A couple of workers killed, but obviously a Queen's going to push them back. And the Spore Crawler going down now as well.
Indeed, 2 Banshees versus this Queen. The Banshees will come out on top. Queen does go down to 2 more Queens coming in to reinforce, but these Banshees will get out of there fairly unscathed. 1 on half health, 1 taken a couple hits. But overall, that was a pretty good harass by Annoying Noob, living up to his name and doing the bit of harassment, denying that inject. That third base is still not been injected, just completely off there. There we go. Still choosing not to. He's just producing another Queen and will then continue to inject from that. And back at home, through all of this, we are still seeing Annoying Noob build up his army, but it looks like he is moving it out, making sure he can secure his third safely, which is currently transforming into that orbital command that he will then land in the third on this sling once it's dead, on its poor and murdered corpse, and he will then begin saturating that. But oh, great fungal on the Banshees of Annoying Noob out in the center of the map, being focused down by the Queens. But Banshees do escape thanks to some sacrificial Hellions that sent themselves right into the middle of those Infestors and Lings in order to make sure the Banshees escaped, both on red health though, 38 health each.
Yeah, wow, a great catch there by Infused Rico. Unfortunately not able to quite clean that up. That would have been great for his mentality. Obviously, as a player, you hate the fact that someone can come in and kill your entire drone line. Someone can come in and harass your, reinforcements. So getting rid of those Banshees is actually like a huge weight off anyone's shoulders. But right now, I don't think Infused Rico is entirely bothered, having 71 drones, +2/+2, almost finished, Burrow almost done. His Infestor count is getting up into the 10s right now. His Hive is already finished, Ultralisk on the way at 14 minutes into the game. And right now, Annoying Noob is just establishing his third base with a very, very small army, to be perfectly honest.
Indeed, I honestly would have expected this army to be a bit bigger than this, and I have to say, one is a small army if you look at it compared to Johnny Rico's, although Johnny Rico's supply is mostly in Lings at the moment. But if you have a look at the wall-off on the natural for Annoying Noob, it looks very fragile.
Well, yeah, but obviously Rico hasn't got any Banelings, so those Lings are going to be chopping away for a little while. But he doesn't actually have to engage up that ramp at all. He can just kill this third, and then he can just repeatedly kill the third. And he's going to have enough army, enough upgrades, and enough tech just to hold off literally anything Annoying Noob can throw at him right now. This is going to be a very, very tough fight for the Terran to win.
Indeed, Rico is on +2/2 for his Lings, almost on 3/3, getting those upgrades to max out those Lings, make them into Cracklings, which, if we have a look at Annoying Noob's upgrades, he is also on 2/2, but he's only just started level 3 attack, and only just started level 1 attack for his tanks. He is just very far behind at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, those Ultralisks with the chitinous plating, allowing them 5 armor, just take no damage from Marines, even at 3/3. A brilliant fungal there, just picking off a small chunk of Marines, and the Medevac's being forced to use their energy to heal. Creep almost at Annoying Noob's base right now. Amazing creep spread by Rico.
And so, yeah, I'm not so sure about Rico's Infestor spread right now, keeping his Infestors at the front. Obviously, these Lings will be able to charge in fairly quickly. Rico has selected all of his Lings and his Ultras. Everything is charging in. Ultras leading the charge, getting focused down by the tanks. But here we go, Lings coming in from the back, being focused down. Annoying Noob attempting to get those Infestors, but the Infestors are just rolling in. Fungals on everything. Everything is dying. The Marines are getting bungled to death. The Medevacs are trying to heal. There's not that much left for Johnny Rico, but what he has left is enough. There are the Ultralisks just chopping through everything, and this third is doomed to death.
Yeah. How often do you see Queens attacking a turret?
Not very often at all. It must have taken them a while. He must have sent them first, because it must have taken them a while to walk off creep. This Ultralisk is just tanking everything, and there we go. Huge infested Terran shot into the natural expansion. Oh god, this is just horrific. The infested Terrans are focusing down the natural, while the Ultralisk is doing the cat's Ultralisk harass without the Overlord, unfortunately, on the third base, killing off the worker line. GG from Annoying Noob, and Johnny Rico takes this second game. Alright, shall we introduce the players?
Be my guest.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, spawning up here in the top right-hand position of the Cloud Kingdom as the Pink Zerg and playing for Team Infused, we have Johnny Rico. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Cloud Kingdom, playing as the Red Protoss for Team Fluid, we have Snite. Ignore his name, it's wrong.
They shouldn't be able to actually see his name properly.
Oh, you've covered it up.
Oh, yeah, I'm that good. But
excellent.
My scoreboard is actually backwards right now, so let me swap the players.
That is fine. I shall observe what is happening. And oh my god, we're not seeing a Forge Fast expand. This is the first PvZ that I have not seen a Forge Fast expand in a very, very long time.
We're not even seeing a wall off.
No, he's just chilling with his spine on next to it. What is he doing?
So what's up, guys? I'm going to play this PvT style.
I think he's like hoping that this shocks Johnny Rico so much that he forgets to build Zerglings. That's the only thing I can figure out from this strategy.
It's a tactic. I'll give him that.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's a tactic. We don't know what it is, but it's a tactic.
It might be a great tactic.
We'll find out. If he proves us wrong, then all credit to him. But right now, it looks like he is committing seppuku. So we shall see how this goes for him.
Well, fortunately for him, like, Rico hasn't actually scouted what's going on right now. He's just kind of doing his standard ZVP build, which of course would be the pull first into hatchery into a really fast third. So, you know, if Rico decides not to scout, then yeah.
This could pay off, but even when Rico eventually attacks, there's still not going to be that first line of defense there. And Rico is going to scout because his Overlord is going to get there and see nothing. Finally,
wow.
Snite is putting down a pylon, sort of.
I haven't seen any non-Korean doing this build before. I know what build it is. It's the gateway first into much quicker zealot pressure. Obviously, it's the gateway first expansion into like much quicker zealot pressure, and you can still get the wall off with the forge, as you can see now. I've not seen this build done outside of Korea yet, so I don't know if Rico's practiced against it. I don't know if he's seen it. Should be very, very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the Team Infused have an account on the NA server, but I have no idea whether they'd be able to get their practice in against their Korean counterparts or something.
Yeah.
But this seems to be working. The wall-off's off and there hasn't been any kind of pressure really. Obviously the expansion isn't down as quickly as it could be, but as you said, this could definitely go into much quicker zealot pressure if he was actually producing zealots.
Well, I mean, generally you get this only one gas into like a 4-gate zealot, into whatever, you know, your normal kind of game is, but we do see the second gas coming on, so a little bit of variation here. I'm not actually sure what Snite is going for. It does look like this zealot pressure because obviously he is chrono boosting warp gate now, and it hits about a full minute and a half earlier than the usual kind of forge fast expand zealot pressure. So, you know, we should see some gateways coming down in the next minute or so, and judging by the gateway count we'll know what's on his mind. But he is chronoing this warp gate very hard, and as you can see, +1 now on its way as well. So it does look like some kind of pressure into you know, a tech path, like maybe Robo would be my guess.
Indeed, and Snite has pulled all of his probes off gas and thrown them onto the minerals on the... Well, not actually onto the minerals, he has missed, but attempted to throw them onto the minerals on his natural expansion. But yeah, I'd agree this is some sort of pressure. As you can see, the probe of Snite is still out on the map, chilling by the potential 4th or 5th or 6th of Johnny Rico, just chilling at the moment, getting ready to throw down a forward pylon. First zealot... Well, no, that's actually another probe from Snite, going to mine long range.
Sorry, judging by what I've seen, he's now completely off gas. He's making only 1 probe at a time and 5 more gates coming down. It looks like it's going to be a 6-gate zealot all in. And if this probe sets up a forward pylon, which it's going to, it's also setting up another one on the right. Johnny Rico is going to have a hard time, but he is scouting this now. He has scouted due to this Overlord over here, so he knows these probes on the left, but he doesn't know about the pylon on the right just yet. And this is very, very, very hard to hold. It's going to be a 6-gate +1 zealot. We do see roaches on the way, so Johnny Rico knows that this hits early, and roaches are on the way right now.
Yep, and we are seeing zealots being warped in at the upper left-hand pylon, attempting to focus down the queen. He's just trying to avoid everything, getting all of his workers onto one mineral patch. The roaches are now here. There is a stalker here as well, here to help. And Johnny Rico has pulled probes from his natural to come help defend against these zealots. Zealots are just slicing, trying to focus down these roaches. The stalker is doing some serious damage, not being focused down. Obviously, Johnny Rico trying to get rid of those zealots first. And he's being forced to micro back. His third base under threat. The stalker and the single zealot are doing some damage. The probes have been pulled back. And the stalker and the zealot are still doing damage. These zealots are still killing off roaches, or at least doing a serious amount of damage to them. Oh, bad micro there from Snipe, making his stalker walk straight into the middle of 3 roaches, and that stalker will go down. But this zealot is still just slicing away, and more zealots being warped in at that pylon. still attacking the third, and now there is another warp. There's been another warp in up to the natural expansion. There are zealots and more stalkers being warped in as well. This natural is taking a lot of damage too, and the probes are being pulled, trying to stay alive. There are a lot of roaches popping out at the moment though, but it looks like there's enough stalkers here to kill off these roaches, and Snight is just continuing to warp in zealots. He can. The third base is going down to these two zealots. There's nothing Johnny Rico can do at the moment. The third base is under serious threat. It looks like Rico's going to attempt to do some sort of counter-attack, but there's just zealots and stalkers everywhere at the moment into the main base, trying to focus down all the roaches at the moment. There are roaches now taking position on the ramp to help defend against these zealots. But this is not going well for Johnny Rico at all. He's finally managing to defend by pulling probes managing to focus down and surround these stalkers a bit, and the roach count is finally moving in Johnny Rico's favor. But there's pylons in the main base as well, and there's zealots and stalkers coming in from everywhere at the moment. There's just stuff. Two more zealots focusing down the natural expansion of Johnny Rico. More units still being warped in. Huge amount of zealots now around the back of the middle line trying to chase down these roaches. But there's units coming in everywhere. There's zealots in the middle line, stalkers focusing down, overlords trying to supply block Rico. He is 84 out of 41. Zealots are finally being picked off, and there we go. Great misclick apparently, and G from Rico, and Snipe knocks out the first infused player.
Wow, an amazing play there. And as you can see, like +1 Protoss units that early are very, very strong. Rico actually reading the game fairly well, knowing what was coming and just not having quite enough to stop it would be my kind of... I'm not sure where this misclick come from. Obviously, he might have mismicroed his roaches somewhere along the line, and that might have caused a slight favour to Snipe. Obviously, we didn't quite catch that, and obviously we don't know the 100% story behind Rico. But again, a good play from Snipe there. A really, really strong all-in and very, very hard to hold.
Yeah, absolutely. That was incredibly impressive. That's got to be a pretty big upset. So really great play there by Snipe, and he will move on to the next round. We are just waiting to see who Infused will throw in next.